everybody, this is Charles Morgan from Comic Week, and I'm with Brianna from Alpha Comics, and we're here with another great new comic book day. We just spent the last hour and a half going through all the boxes that Diamond Distributors sent you, and we've got a lot of number ones, some really nice returning characters that are fan favorites, Moon Knight, and we also have some important issues on series that have been very popular, and some comics that have been very hard to keep in stock are in stock, at least until the doors open. So what are you reading?
I am reading technically number 3 of Canto. That's the one I am stopped at. This is going to be issue number 4, but I'm having a lot of fun with it. I really enjoy it. It is cute, but it does have a dark underbelly. It's not going to be just like straight sugar. There is some meat to it. It's sugared meat. Sounds.
It's like Bagogi.
Yeah, Gogor is good.
But yeah, I like Canto too. I've read the first 3 issues. I'm a little ahead of Brie on that. But she's right. You got these little diminutive knights where their hearts have been removed. They've been enslaved. And we're going to find out what's going on with that. This is a little tin knight trying to save his loved one. And he's on an epic journey. And you know, with epic journeys, it's always the trip and not the destination, which is really, really
and
great.
The art's really actually great in it too, because it gives you a lot of the feel of what's going on. Because like the line work's pretty heavy on the black. Not like it's super intense like Art Nouveau or something like that. But it does give kind of this dimension to it that some other books don't have necessarily.
And you guys ordered a little heavy on this. I'm surprised. So that must mean that this series has developed a pretty strong audience.
Well, I also keep recommending it, and the good thing about recommending things is that there's a chance people buy it. But you also need to make sure you order more so that when you recommend it, they're not just like, oh, I can't find it, that's it.
Right, well, Canto's been in multiple printings, so this is a chance for you to get on a first printing. Canto number 4 is out. Another number 4 is a cool series that's been out for a few months. This is Silver Surfer Black, and according to the solicit, this is an issue where we learn the origin of Galactus, a very major Marvel baddie.
Oh yeah, big baddie. Big baddie. Like, height-wise and everything.
Another Marvel title is Invisible Woman number 3. And Invisible Woman has a really cool homage cover to the 1953 Howard Hawks film, Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, starring Marilyn Monroe. And this has been a very nice, mature look at an underrated member of the original Fantastic Four.
Yeah, she was kind of in the background, and it's really neat seeing her be in the limelight to a certain extent. Because even though her power is invisibility, doesn't mean her personality has to be invisible.
No wallflower there.
We also have a new issue of Captain Marvel, which is going to have a altercation between a newish character, Star. So we'll see how that unfolds. I really love this cover too. I think it's great looking. So I'm very excited to see what happens.
And this has been a very hot book the last 2 issues.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Most definitely.
And another hot book you're going to have is Gwenpool number 2.
Yep, this is one of Alex's favorite characters, so I had to say something about it. Gwenpool's a lot of fun, and she's definitely a cool character if you want something that's going to be a little zany off the wall. I mean, she's kissing Mr. Fantastic here, so she's not exactly normally completely stable, I guess, might be the best way to put it.
And that's not a very happy Invisible Woman on the cover of that either.
I mean, I could understand that. I could see that.
They have children. Another number 2 here is Dark Age number 2 by Red 5 Comics. Now, I got lucky, and when I was traveling through Rocky Mount, North Carolina, I scored the rare variant and retailer and center variant of this comic.
Oh, that's awesome!
And I got it for $4, and I was super stoked about it. But this is a great cover of number 2. This is a really cool series. It's a sort of a post-apocalyptic series where metal no longer basically has any use or purpose, and people are basically fighting in a feudal version of the United States. And on this cover, you see part of the Lincoln Memorial and total and upheaval, and it's just a really kind of cool series if you like that kind of Mad Maxy look in the American continent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's super awesome. Another one is going to be Marvel, excuse me, yeah, it is Marvel's. Marvel Miles Morales. It's going to be going back to the legacy numbering in this little corner here, C250. The legacy numbering's kind of, I wouldn't say controversial, it's not that intense, but sometimes they include first appearances in those numbers, so it gets a little iffy if it's actually like could be considered 250. Plus, like, Miles hasn't had like a continual book. It's been a couple of different series, so it gets a little muddled. So it's not going to be as clean cut as like Action or Detective, which did have some lapses in the flow of stuff, but not quite as much as some of those standalone characters. But apparently there's something interesting supposed to be happening in this issue.
Yeah, a reappearance of some major characters that you'll well know if you're into Spider-Man. But what do you guys think about the legacy numbering system? Do you like comic books that sell themselves because of the story or the art, or do you like the gimmick of the numerical order of a comic?
And like, I feel like those numbers are really neat. And like, it's kind of cool to see like the history, like when like Action and Detective hit 1,000, to kind of see where that flow is. But making it such a big deal makes it sometimes, I don't know, feel like a little bit to me.
Well, a series that won't reach 1,000 or even 250, unfortunately, is Gogor by Ken Gehring. Now, we've mentioned this comic on our videos, and I sort of blame myself for not getting around to writing an essay about how good and interesting this series is. Unfortunately, this is going to be the final issue of the run. It's meant to be the final issue of the first story arc. Now, the reason I bring that up is there's actually a really great visual essay in the back of the issue that Ken Gehring puts together to explain some of the problems that exist with the toxic culture that exists on the internet as it pertains to comic book and comic book creators. I think it's definitely worth a read. I hope you guys get a chance to see it or go to your local comic book shop and pick one up and read what he has to say. I think it's one of the most important messages that comic book creators have tried to relay directly to fans that I've seen in quite some time.
So Powers of X is going to have a new title in issue number 4, not title, issue. This book, hopefully, we won't sell out.
Do you sell out of House of X?
Yes, we did. We sold out of it today.
So
we were out of it, and then we had one more, and then we sold that one today. So we're definitely climbing up the mountain. We're getting there. I mean, it's just taking till issue 4, and it's only 6 issues long, but we're trying.
Well, you went from 1.5 hours to 7 days, so that's good.
Yeah, truth.
Another cool issue I definitely want to check out. Batman number 77 featured the death of Alfred, at least for now. Batman 78 is out, and it has a return of Catwoman, and they share some very nice time on the beach. And if you like the Batman Catwoman romance, you'll be very happy to see a little bit more of it in this issue.
All right, we're going to be continuing on with Year of the Villain. It's going to be the Riddler issue. That's going to be the most recent standalone. A while back, when Batman was just getting into the engagement and stuff like that, Riddler kind of got a redesign that was unexpected, and Alex's explanation of why did they make him hot? Like, it's not quite as intense, but like, I think he was shirtless in the issue. I don't remember what happened. Yeah, he went from being like
Riddle me this, Batman.
Oh God! Oh no, thank you. I don't need that, especially because like my visual of the Riddler was always this kind of like spindly guy who was super intelligent but didn't really have like the physicality to back anything up. And then you come in here with like this buff, like St. Patrick's Day inspired Riddler.
You're like, take what you want. It's good.
Yeah, like let's not do that.
Speaking of taking what you want, last Art Germ cover of the Catwoman series. He's been doing a variant for the entire run. This is the second of 2 issues that Ram V and Mirka Andolfo have been working on. But you have this beautiful Catwoman, which is inspired by a very famous movie poster with Michelle Pfeiffer, although they couldn't do Michelle Pfeiffer on the cover for obvious legal reasons. But this is a beautiful Art Germ cover.
Oh, it's great.
And that cardstock.
It's super pretty.
Definitely like
Super duper pretty. All right, and in the newest Young Justice issue, there's going to be some very similar looking individuals to them, but not quite so of the same morality standpoint. There's apparently an evil Young Justice that's roaming around on another Earth.
Yes, this is the Young Injustice League from an evil multiverse planet. And so it'll be kind of cool to see how that works out. There's also an evil Shazam that we've been introduced to recently in the DC universe. Another title that I'm a big Black Hammer fan. I think it's always been a very good, worthwhile read. This is the third issue of Black Hammer Justice League, which is the DC Dark Horse crossover. So we've seen them try to figure out why they are switching planets. Of course, if you know, the Black Hammer team has been trapped on a farm for 10 years. It's been the main story arc of the series. And now they escape, but now they're in the DC universe, so not in their own star city. And the DC superheroes are stuck on the farm. And as such, they start to revert to the complacency and the magic allure of the farm to settle down and not worry about the world's problems has overtaken them. So we will see what happens as the series continues. It's been very well written, and there's multiple variant covers for you to check out. My favorite has Madame Dragonfly and Batman on it.
Oh yeah, it's a great looking cover. So now we have a bunch of number ones.
And here we have Gotham City Monsters. No, folks, I mean Gotham City Monsters. So this is cool. This brings a lot of those DC horror title characters together as a superhero team or super villain team or whatever kind of team they would be. So that's kind of cool. And we got Supreme Leader Snoke here, number one. He had a pretty ignominious end to him in the second sequel.
Yeah, the sound effect of wah wah wah.
Wah, wah.
Play.
It should have been waka waka waka.
Oh God! Then a Muppet shows up.
Street Fight. Well, Disney has that.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. Street Fighter Akuma versus Hell is here, number one. From Mythos Comics, Vamp. It's actually kind of neat. It takes place in Las Vegas, a little vampire story.
The cover looks neat.
It's
a mirror cover, so it's not necessarily it's kind of a wraparound, but like the title is mirrored, which is super neat in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm gonna break the comic book rule here. Mm-hmm. Oh, you don't want to see that? There's a Winnie the Pooh in here too.
Really? Oh, what in the world is going on? Okay.
Unauthorized Winnie the Pooh.
Okay.
You should pick that up. Find out about that. That's not going to be on the market long. Here's Trees, Three Fates from Warren Ellis.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Trees was a super popular series. We sell the trades consistently still.
IDW has a new series called IDW has a new series called Pandemica. This is basically one of those future everything goes to hell in America kind of stories where there's the government is trying to get rid of certain ethnic groups by dropping biological weapons on them that target them. If you like these apocalyptic future stories, this might be something for you.
Yeah, it's not going to be a very light read. It sounds like it's going to have a lot of heft to it.
Moon Knight is back.
Mm-hmm.
And he actually has a very cool wraparound variant cover too. Which,
yeah. One of the ones where he's not changing faces, but you see his other individuals that are chilling inside his head.
And this is supposed to have an appearance of Moon Knight from the Old West version, so that's cool. Scout Comics always has very interesting number one titles. Midnight Sky, which I'm told is a sort of like a They Live meets the Invasion of the Body Snatchers type of horror title. So maybe not one of those visceral, gut-churning ones, but one with creepy monsters and things that go bump in
I
the
can
night.
do that. I like monsters. I like monsters if there's not like things splattering all over everywhere.
Well, I'll tell you what, the Invasion of the Body Snatchers always freaked me out as a kid. The idea that you go to bed and something would come. Yeah, not feeling it. King Thor, number one. This is a futuristic story that takes place with the final confrontation between Loki and Thor. And that should be cool, although it calls into question like any confrontation they have from here to then.
Yeah.
Another popular character from the indie scene is back. Chastity, number one. This is from Dynamite. This is from the Chaos storyline. Mm-hmm. So, what do you think?
Oh, chainsaw reindeer. Oh, so I saw this on the invoice, and I was just kind of like, I wonder if this is going to be like chainsaws for legs, like it's a reference to Evil Dead, or like evil Santa using a chainsaw and like does a weird mad scientist experiment on his reindeer. I didn't know what was going on, but apparently a reindeer's just sentient with a chainsaw.
This really is the kind of comic that you should walk out with. You should walk out with this in a brown paper bag and read it in an alley, I think.
Josh seems pretty pumped for it, so there's at least one buyer.
Beware the Witch's Shadow, another indie horror title. And, well, not indie so much, but here's something from Marvel.
Yep. Is this one going to be a one-shot, or is that a continual one? I think it's a one-shot. I'm not sure, though. Don't quote me on that. But they have been doing periodically one-shots in between Absolute Carnage, which I actually kind of like, so it's not just like, here's 20 bajillion miniseries and have fun. Like, you do have your Carnage versus Deadpool and stuff like that, but it seems like they're trying to make it not quite so much like have like 10 different series that are going on at the same time, hopefully.
Well, that wraps it up for the titles that we have this week. Again, if you haven't had a chance, check out our new podcast series, which our first guest, Aubrey Sitterson, sat for an hour to talk to me about the state of comics, the auteur theory of comic creation, his two excellent titles, The Comic Story of Professional Wrestling, which came out last year. You guys used to have that in stock.
Yep. We sold out of it, and we're getting more in.
Yeah, it's really good. And also his very popular Dark Horse title, No One Left to Fight. It's a miniseries that has 5 issues. 1 through 3 are already out. 4 and 5 are forthcoming. So we talked for an hour. It's great. And to celebrate the launch of the podcast, we're going to give away a CGC 9.8 copy of the first printing of No One Left to Fight. You can go to our Comic Week contest page to sign up for that. We had about 300 people sign up last week for our giveaway. So you have a pretty decent chance. And so I do invite you to do that. And then also, usually we read all the thank yous and all the people who liked and commented on our video. But the last 2 weeks, we've just had such an explosion of interest in the videos that there's so many people to thank that we wouldn't have time. So we're going to put your names up on the screen. We want to thank all of you. You make our day, each and every one of you who like or comment the video. We try to answer questions or to follow up on things that you tell us. So that kind of does it for this week. Have a good new comic book day, and we hope the Alpha Comics team hopes to see you in the store.
Bye.
Bye-bye, everyone.